Good evening, Tottenham fans, as Conor Gallagher signs on the dotted line after his medical, officially a Spurs player now, and Sousa having his medical today too. Spurs have already signed 2 players this window. Conor Gallagher is the experienced player, and I think is a top signing for us. But Spurs are not done there. Spurs are looking to bring 3 more players in this window, which would be absolutely insane, especially if they get these signings right. And the 3 players that we are being linked to are also very, very good players. And I think most Spurs fans would be happy if we got these players in. The first player I want to talk about is Curtis Jones. Now, you might know him from the Liverpool team. He's, for me, an exceptional player. I think he's really, really underrated. And if Liverpool were to let him go, I think it would be a huge loss for them. I think when he plays in their side, they're a much better team all round. His work rate is insane, just like Conor Gallagher's. His passing range is exceptional. I think he's got a 92% completion pass rate. His long ball pass rate completion is in the 90 percentile as well. He can play in multiple positions. He can play defensive midfielder. He can play in the 8. He can play in the 10. He can play on the right wing if you put him there. So Curtis Jones would be an absolute exceptional signer for Spurs. And the progressive ball player that we need in that middle of the park would be him, because he does progress the ball forward. His first thought is always to be on the front foot, either hitting it long or short passes forward. He's always carrying the ball forward as well. He's one of the highest carriers of the ball in the Premier League as well. So it's a no-brainer for me to get a Curtis Jones in and line him up next to Conor Gallagher and Paulinho. Can you imagine that midfield? Obviously, you got Xavi in there as well. You could probably move him out to the left. You've got so many options with Curtis Jones in your side, because he's so flexible and so versatile. He would do a very, very good job for Spurs, in my opinion. Now, the next player Spurs are looking into getting is a Magnus Akalouch. I never say his name properly. Magnus Akalouch from Monaco. You might have seen him play against us in the Champions League, where he was absolutely exceptional. His technical ability is so strong. His work rate, again, is very, very good too. He can play on that right wing. I know we've sold Brennan Johnson, so we've got a big gap there, especially now Kudus is injured. So Akalouch could really fill a void there that we need. He's very, very skillful, very, very good with link-up play, and very good at finding a pass. I think he scored 3 goals and got 2 assists already this season. He's still young, still learning. The only issues I have with him, he may not adapt to the Premier League straight away. He's probably not the strongest physically either, but he isn't that weak either. So it's not a weakness, but you know, the Premier League is a very physical league. But I think he would be a top signer for us. He's very, I don't know. Another issue I'd have is Kulu's coming back. So you know, I'm not sure if he would be a first teamer just yet. And we do need to really try and prove that first 11. But still, it'd be a top signing for me. I would get him through the door, but depending on how much Monaco are asking for him. If they say 60 million, 70 million, I don't think we should risk that. I think it'd be 40 million I'd go for, but not as any higher than that. Then next up, I would go for Spurs are linked to Ademola Lookman. Obviously playing in the AFCON at the moment and smashing it out. I think last time I see his stats, he was on 3 goals and 2 assists. I think he's added to that again. You have to let me know in the comments if he has. But obviously this can't be done until AFCON is finished. But he is a brilliant player now. I know he used to play in the Premier League before, but if you think about him in the Premier League before, he had a really skinny frame. He was pretty weak. He didn't have much experience at the time. He's gone out to Italy playing for Atlanta, and he's just absolutely smashing it out there. He's a deadly finisher. He can get assists, score goals. He's very, very strong now. He's bulked up massively. He's quick. He's got everything you need from a winger. It'd be perfect for him to rotate in with Tell as well, and teach Tell a thing or two as well, so Tell can learn from him. I just think we need a goal-scoring winger, and I think Lookman would be that guy. And if you put Lookman on the left, and when Kudus comes back, you have two powerful wingers there playing on the wings, and then you've got like a Solanke or Mawani in the striker role for now as well. So, and with a Conor Gallagher and a Paulinho in the midfield, with that, you've got all of a sudden you've got such a powerful team, such a powerful core of your team with Van der Ven and Romero behind that as well. It's just a lot of physicality in there, and I think the Premier League is turning into quite even more so a more physical league than it used to be in the past. So for me, these three signings coming in would be absolutely brilliant for Spurs. But if we don't get these specific three players, we need three players similar to these kinds of players. We need strength. We need goal scorers. We need progressive passers, especially in that midfield. I just think Curtis Jones would be that ideal progressive passer that we need. And he's attainable. I think he's got 18 months left on his contract. 18 months for a year, something like that. So it's going down, and he's not signing a new contract with Liverpool. Another big block on that would be, would Curtis Jones want to come to Spurs after playing for such a top side like Liverpool? So we'd have to really offer him good wages and a good vision. We need to show vision to these players. Now, this could change everything for Spurs. Now, it really could. I think getting 2 or 3 more top signings added to Conor Gallagher, added to Kulu and Solanke coming back fit as well, and Maddison eventually as well. We've got a good core of players. We really have. And I don't think the players are playing to the top level that they can do either. I just think this big change from Ange to Frank, with things not going our way, massive amounts of injuries, I just think it's hindered us this season. We're out of all the cups now, apart from the Champions League. And really, we're only playing to see if we can get into Europe next season. But it's good time now to build. And if we can build a squad, as well as building a rapport, a way of playing, a style of play, if Frank gets it right, we could go into next season and next summer, sign a couple more top players, then all of a sudden things could start looking much better for Spurs. It could all change within a week. It really could. It could all change within a week. It could go the other way. We could play West Ham and Burnley, lose both games, and I'll be absolutely fuming and telling everybody I want Frank out. So let's just see what happens. But I just think Spurs are not done yet. I think if you think about it as well, we sold Brennan Johnson for 35 million and we bought Conor Gallagher for 35 million. Basically swapped Brennan Johnson for Conor Gallagher. For me, that's an absolute steal for us. Perfect. And we signed Sousa for about, I think it worked out around £12 million. So we've only spent 12 million out of the possible 150 million. So if ENIC are serious and they want to compete for Premier Leagues, want to compete for Champions League, compete on all 4 fronts, and they're really concentrating on sport and success, you need to put your money where your mouth is now, because you've got nowhere to hide. Daniel Levy is not going to be a scapegoat anymore. We all know it's not all the manager's fault when you're not signing players. So you need to put your hands in your pockets, sign some top players for Spurs, because it could really change your season around, change the mood of the fans. We've still got some big games coming up. We've still got a big game against Arsenal. I would love to beat them. We haven't beat them for a long time. Get a squad together that can capable of competing against them, and it is possible. Also, we could rock them from winning the league again, which I would absolutely love. Tottenham can change things. Tottenham can turn it around, but it's in the hands of ENIC now. Can ENIC back this manager? And finally, Spurs can start turning things around. It's been so bad for fans at the moment. So bad to talk about it. We're so divided all the time. We're so angry, upset, disillusioned. Whatever word you want to say, that's what we are. And I just don't want to see that anymore. I want to see a little bit of optimism. I want to see a little bit of hope. I want to see a little bit of, excitement about going to the ground again, about going to watch Spurs and cheering them on and, having a good rapport with the players and the manager again. I want all that back, but we can't get any of that back unless we act like a big club, sign top players and get the manager that we need to push us on to try and challenge for things. Because at the end of the day, this is a huge club and it deserves so much more than it's getting so far. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you sign these 3 players I mentioned in the video today? Or is there other players that you've seen that you would rather have come to this Spurs side? Try and make it as realistic as you can, because it's not easy to attract top players to Tottenham at the moment. Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.